Do you look back at that now with your career and all the work that you put in on the road? Because you're 24 years doing stand-up?
No. Way less than that. I'm 18 or 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got to do the math, but I think I'm in my 19th year right now.
Okay, I don't know why I thought prior to you and I meeting, you had been at it for about 4 or 5 years. But
I was pretty new.
Oh, shit. Right on. Now, do you reflect back looking at your career, and as you said, like, hey, I've worked so hard to build what my quote unquote brand is and my style, that it's just like you said, I'm not willing to compromise who and what I am and be connected to what I think is a total bullshit approach to this brilliant art form.
Well, I mean, I've always thought that I don't want to compromise. You know, early on, I was working with a comic named Phil Palisol, who's great. And he took me to lunch, and he said that the thing he liked about my set was that his phrase was, I dropped the comedy plow. He was like, you don't care what the field looks like. You're going to plow the field regardless. And that's something that, stuck with me, but also something that I found really important to me is that, like, there are people who, I think the greatest example of it was I was on this Facebook thread where a bunch of comics were talking about, someone was trying to make the point of stay out of politics when you're talking about comedy or when you're doing comedy because, you might piss people off and et cetera, et cetera. And I said, weird, I got into comedy to say something.
Right.
Like, I don't know why you got into comedy. Do you get into comedy for a paycheck? There are way better ways to make a paycheck. Like I got into comedy to say something. I got into art to create art, and I didn't get into art to please an art critic. So, like, and if you do, you'll never do anything. There's that quote from Biloxi Blues: when you compromise your art, you become a candidate for mediocrity.
And speaking of getting into art, getting into comedy, how did you get into it? When you were a kid, were you always just were you the class clown, or were you like, you know what, I like this. I could do something like this.
Not even remotely. I got into comedy because when I was 13 and I was a very lost, shy kid, I got convinced to join the improv club by a girl I had a crush on.
Oh, okay.
And I just thought it was so wonderful that she thought I was funny enough or interesting enough to join that club. Like, to me, it was such this moment of someone recognizes something in me, and someone who I have put value upon recognizes something in me. And so I joined it, and I was very hesitant at first, but they had this rule where newbies always had to do a scene. And I did, and it was so much fun. I loved it. And within 2 weeks, she had quit, and I was already hooked. And it didn't matter that she was gone. I was in.
Yeah.
And it was the first time in my life I was getting positive attention for something.
Nice.
How do you deal with, and I think a lot of people that are listening to our podcast, that have struggled with addiction, feel that shyness, that isolation, not fitting in and everything else. One of the things I love about following you on social media, Steve, is people just can't hit you with any arrows and daggers. How did you just build up that mental and emotional capacity to just be like, just fuck them, whatever, guy? I don't know.
Well, I'm not impervious. I'm not a robot. I definitely have moments where things hurt, but I think the key is don't take someone else's demons personally. I think it takes a lot of ego to think that this horrible person is only horrible at me.
Yeah.
Like, this is an insufferable person. This is a person who, if they're willing to say that kind of thing to a stranger, what do they say to the people in their life?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And to think that their demons are a reflection on you is ego. And you have to put that aside and realize that, like, no, this person just sucks. And like that doesn't change who I am because they suck toward me. Like, it's just, I just happen to be in firing range. That's all it is.